So what started as a simple game of truth or dare turned into a demonic ritual by the end of the night. Someone almost got so
under her breath, it's really a shame that he is going to perish so young. This did kind of freak Mike's parents.
Her Uncle Cap ends up digging up the arm in the yard and it's covered in fire ants. He ends up putting it in a box and reburying it, okay? Then she starts complaining.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Huh? Yes.
Look at you.
Do something with it.
It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me easily. Money coming in and needing me. Money coming in repeatedly. Money coming, it's just money coming. It's just money coming to me frequently. Money coming in to be with me. Money coming in secretly.
He's from a small town in Guatemala called San Jose La Arrada, and this happened when he was about 15 years old. He came from a poor family, so to help out with money, he decided to sell silverware. It started out as a normal day. He got his silverware ready and headed out the door. He went to different houses like he normally did, but then he got to one house that looked very old, almost like no one lived there. Despite that, he knocked on the door. To his surprise, someone answered. It was an old man. He was very well dressed. He wore a dark royal blue suit, fancy black shoes, and carried a dark red cane. My dad asked him if he wanted to buy some silverware, and the old man replied, "I will buy your whole kit, but I don't have money right now. Could you come back tomorrow?" My dad was thrilled and quickly said yes. The next day, he headed straight to the house. He knocked on the front door, but no one answered. He checked again the following day, and the day after that, for a whole week, but still no answer. One day, while he was knocking, a lady happened to walk by and asked why he had been knocking on the door for so long. My dad explained that the old man who lived there had promised to buy all his silverware. The lady looked at him with a serious expression and said, "That house has been vacant for 15 years. Goosebumps ran down my dad's spine. He tried to make excuses, refusing to believe what the lady had just told him. But then he remembered something that didn't sit right. The old man was dressed in luxury that you wouldn't find in a small town where my dad lived. To this day, my dad still wonders who that old man really was.
Creepiest story sent to me today. I'm not for sure if she wants her name told or not, so we're just gonna call her B, and if she shows up in the comments, then that's great. So when she was around 8 or 9, they were having to move houses, and she was living in Chicago at the time, and they had some pets, so they weren't able to just like move into an apartment or anything. Well, they asked a family friend to keep the pets, and then they ended up renting this house. Instantly, day one, they move into this rental house, and things start happening. They had like a teapot or something sitting on the shelf, and it just kind of flew right at them. At first, the mom thought the dad was doing it, but turns out no, it wasn't the dad. She said that the neighbors weren't really like friendly or anything. They just kind of had that bless their heart kind of mentality to them, so they never really like talked to them much or did anything, which will come into play in a minute. The entire time they're living there, they're there for about a year. All kinds of ghostly activities happening, you know, hearing things, seeing things out of the corner of your eye, just little stuff like that. And still the neighbors are kind of keeping their distance, right? Well, after a year, the lease is up. So the mom decides like, hey, I really like this place. Even though we have little creepy things happen, I want to buy the house. The dad buys the house. Then 3 days after they sign, one of the neighbors comes over and says, oh my God, I can't believe you bought this house. The neighbor then tells them that the family that lived there before was a husband, wife, and 3 kids. The wife was a female police officer for Chicago. One night, her husband and the 3 kids were already at Chuck E. Cheese. She was supposed to meet them there, but she was going to go home first, shower, change, and everything, then go meet them there. But instead, she comes home, stays in uniform, takes her, and ends herself, you know, in their bedroom, which just happened to be B's mom and dad's bedroom. immediately they're like, what the hell, right? So they go into the house, go into the bedroom, and then they find the hole in the wall. They didn't even like fill it in. They just kind of painted over it. So now that they own the house, they're able to bring their pets in and everything. So they go back to the friends that's watching them, get the dog. The dog had been living its best life and is now expecting, okay? So they needed a place to put the dog, and it was wintertime in Chicago. So they go downstairs to the basement. They're moving things around to clear out to make a spot for the dog when they find this drum that has a canvas like pulled over the top of it and has all of this satanic drawings on it. Yeah. Her mom gets sick. She has some kind of autoimmune disorder where she keeps getting clots, so she has trouble going up and down the stairs. So she decides to sleep on the couch. Well, then one night while she's on the couch, her dad swears that he felt someone get into the bed with him. Now remember, that's the previous owner's bedroom too, right? Get into the bed, and then he thought he heard like snoring and stuff. Turns out wasn't the mom. Now, B's bedroom was across from the bathroom, and she said this time she was like 12, 13, something like that. So she would always sleep with the door open, and then she would watch TV, and then the TV was near this, like the bedroom door or whatever, so that when she was watching the TV, she could also see directly into the bathroom. Well, when she would decide that she was ready to go to bed or whatever, she would roll over, keep the TV on. Well, then one night at like 2 a.m, she rolls back towards the TV and to get like a cup of water or something off of her nightstand. And then she's looking directly into the bathroom when she sees this woman sitting on a closed lid toilet, sitting there with like crying, with like her hands on her face and her elbows on her knees, and her hair's like hanging down. She's staring at this woman when this woman like just like looks up at her and then starts like crawling out of the bathroom towards B's room. And as soon as she gets to the threshold of B's room, her bedroom door slams shut. As if that wasn't enough, okay? So then things keep going. Her mom gets progressively worse. She's in and out of the hospital. Then she would be home late at night by herself. So she would have her friends come over to like hang out with her. Well, her friends were there one night and they hear like some big loud noise down in the basement. They go down there and there's like this massive like dresser piece of furniture that was like huge. She said was thrown from like one side of the room to the other. Scares the shit out of the friends. The friends are like, you know, this sucks for you, but we're out of here. They leave her. She leaves with them, goes outside, stands on the front yard, you know, whatever. She's calling her dad like over and over again. She said she calls her dad like 5 times. She keeps turning around, looking back to the house. And then that's when that friggin' bathroom light comes on. The bathroom where that woman was at, the bathroom light comes on. So she's talking to her dad. She's like, you know, pretty much like, oh shit, the bathroom light just came on. And while she's talking to her dad, she can see like someone in the house walking around, but no one was there. Her mom was in the hospital, her dad was at work, and she was standing on the front lawn. Probably thinking, okay, that's got to be it, right? No. Remember how I told you the drum was in the basement with all the satanic stuff on it? There was one window in the basement, like a little window that would fill up with flies. Okay? Yeah, we all know what that means. So they lived there for like ever, but then when they finally like moved and sold the house, everything stopped. It all stayed at that house. I love this story, for 1. 2, it's terrifying. If you got more stories like this, send them to me. I love them. I can't get enough of them.
This happened in 2014 in San Diego, California. My family and I own a cleaning company, so we typically work at night when no one is in the offices. That night, it was my mom, my 2 sisters, and me working together. My oldest sister dropped us off since we only had 1 car. She went to her own job at the Scripps Research Institute, where she was responsible for cleaning the utensils used by scientists and feeding the lab animals. She was alone during her shift. Her first encounter happened as she was finishing up her cleaning station. A scientist walked into the room and she greeted him with a simple, "Hello there." He didn't respond. He just walked straight into his office and sat at his desk. She didn't think much of it at first, but after about 3 seconds, she did a double take because it was strange that he hadn't acknowledged her. Everyone there was always friendly. When she turned back to look, the office lights were off and the door was closed, and no one was there. Immediately, she got an eerie feeling. Our family is very Christian, and we've had our fair share of experiences with spirits, demons, and even exorcisms. Our parents always taught us what to do and say because we believe we have authority over anything trying to scare us. Well, my sister hurried to clean up and get out of there. As she walked outside, She saw 2 cars in the parking lot, ours and the janitor's, whom she knew well. However, she noticed a 3rd car with someone sitting inside. She could see the light from their phone illuminating their face. She thought nothing of it at first and kept walking toward our car. But as she got closer to the car, she got a sudden, strong, eerie feeling and turned to look back. The car was empty. There was no way anyone could have moved that fast or gotten out without making a sound. She jumped into our car, locked the doors, prayed, turned on the radio, and took off toward the office building where we were cleaning. While driving on the freeway, she suddenly felt a hand grab her shoulder and tug on it. She knew she was alone in the car, and she didn't dare to look behind her. She sped up and kept her eyes on the road. As she exited the freeway, approaching a railroad crossing, she saw a man in a white t-shirt standing near the tracks, waving at her to stop. His stomach was covered in train track imprints, with blood seeping through his shirt. She immediately knew something was wrong. Instead of stopping, she kept driving. When she finally got the courage to check her rear view mirror, there was no one on the tracks. No one in the back seat. Nothing. She sped to where we were cleaning and didn't say a word until she got inside. Meanwhile, at the office,
Have you heard of the concept of a phantom limb? This story is kind of based on that, but crazy. And this is supposedly a true story by this girl named Courtney. She sent it to me. She said this is family lore. So she said that her great aunt Eloise, so I don't know when this happened, but I'm assuming because it's her great aunt, it probably took place in like the 40s, 50s, 60s, like a long time ago. She goes on a date with Courtney's great uncle Cap. They ended up getting married, but on their first date, her uncle Cap takes great aunt Eloise hunting. And he ends up pew-pewing off her arm. And I don't know what was going on with hospitals back then, but basically she ends up being fine. Obviously she's missing an arm, but they take it home and they bury it in the backyard at great aunt Eloise's house, okay? Her and this guy keep seeing each other. They end up getting married. One day she wakes up and she feels like her arm is just burning off. She doesn't have an arm. It's like a phantom limb sensation, but she's like, my arm is on fire. My arm is on fire. She's going back and forth to the doctor. They cannot figure out what's causing this phantom pain. Her uncle Cap ends up digging up the arm in the yard and it's covered in fire ants. He ends up putting it in a box and reburying it, okay? Then she starts complaining that her hand is cramping. Again, it's a phantom cramp. She can't prove anything to the doctors. She can't figure out why her hand is cramping. They dig up the arm again. Apparently the hand was closed in a way that was uncomfortable for her, so they open up the hand and they rebury it. Then she complains that her arm is cold. They dig it up, they cover it, and they wrap it in a blanket. They rebury it. And basically this pattern just continues until her great aunt Eloise is finally comfortable. And she says, again, this is just family lore. She says she doesn't know if this is true or if her aunt Eloise was making it up, but this was something that was commonly done in her family. And she said she doesn't know if it's spooky enough for spooky scary story time, but it's definitely weird and bizarre enough that she felt like she should submit it. And I think it's different. She said it reminds her a lot of like soldiers who complain about missing a limb and the phantom limb sensation, and she wonders if there's actually something to that just because of her great aunt Eloise's story. She said after her great uncle Cap died, they moved in with her. She was a really strong, beautiful woman. She always cooked and cleaned and did everything really well despite having one arm. And ultimately she just thought it was a really cool story. This one's really short, but I have another one coming for you guys tonight. Let me know if you want a Faye story, if you want another Randonautica story, or if you want another Glitch in the Matrix story, because I have all three. And I also have
Okay, great Aunt Eloise, ma'am, you're a better woman than me, because what do you mean you pew my hands off, my arm off on the first date? You would never see me again. Am I the only one? Because, sir, what do you mean? We've seen each other for 0.5 seconds.
Email to tell me about the creepy premonition that their parents got when they were a baby. Creepy TikTok user tales. I don't know if this person wants to be anonymous, so we're just gonna call him Mike. Mike told me that shortly after he was born, his parents took him on a trip to the grocery store, and everyone in there was just oohing and eyeing over him because he was a newborn, and that's just what some people do. We also need to remember that this was a very long time ago, so this was a different time. But a woman who was dressed in an all-black dress with a black hat on walked up to Mike's parents. She was oohing and eyeing over this little baby, Mike, and she asked, hey, would you mind if I held him? Remember, this was a different time. This was a long time ago. So his parents were like, yeah, sure, that's fine. So Mike's parents hand him over and she's holding him. She's kind of talking to him. And then she looks up at Mike's parents and she tells them, like, he's going to be a very special boy. Like, he's so smart. He's going to be great at science and he is going to be a spelling whiz. Mike's parents told him that she looked down at him and she smiled and then she handed him back. This last part, they didn't tell Mike until much later, but as she was walking away, she kind of muttered under her breath, it's really a shame that he is going to perish so young. This did kind of freak Mike's parents out, but they just figured probably just somebody who's off their rocker a little bit. Mike told me that as he got older, he did become very good at science, and he would win every spelling bee, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade. By the time he got to 7th grade and he became like the champion speller, one day they're sitting around the dinner table and his uncle says to Mike and Mike's parents, maybe there was something to what that lady said in the grocery store. At this point, Mike's parents fill him in on that story, minus the part about him perishing young, for obvious reasons. Mike gets older, he's in high school, he's great at science, and he is still a spelling whiz. One night, Mike is on his way home and he's coming to this 4-way intersection. There's a stop sign on this way, but he does not have a stop sign. He keeps going. Unfortunately, the truck that is coming this way runs the stop sign because the driver is intoxicated. They impact Mike going 65 miles per hour and pin him against a telephone pole. Mike told me that the EMTs came and they had to use the jaws of life to cut him out of the vehicle. And when they got him out, he did not have a heartbeat. They put him in the ambulance and the EMTs started to work on him. And he said that they shocked him 2 times. They got him back once, lost the heartbeat again, shocked him again, and he wasn't coming back. At that point, the EMT, who was the senior EMT, decided that he was going to call it, but there was a younger EMT on the ambulance that night who ignored that EMT and shocked him one more time. After that last shock, they got a heartbeat back and got him to the hospital. After the accident, Mike stays in the hospital for a little while, but he does end up making a full recovery. While he is in the hospital, he is able to meet the EMTs that saved his life. The senior EMT tells the mom, I had already called it, but the younger guy just went on ahead and shocked him one more time and we were able to get the heartbeat back. I'm really glad that he didn't listen to me. The younger EMT was also in the room and he said, I don't know. Something just told me to just keep trying. After this, Mike goes on to live his life. He's got a wife. He's got kids. Time has passed many years. Mike and his family decide that they're going to go to a local fair. While they're at the fair, there is a booth for palm reading and psychic readings. Mike says that he's not really into that kind of stuff, but his wife was into it. So she wanted to go in there and have a reading done. Mike was like, that sounds great. Let's go for it. As his wife is having the palm reading done by this psychic, it's all just pretty normal stuff. Nothing really stands out. After she's done, his wife asks him, do you want to have your palm read? And he says, no, not really. And she says, oh, come on, it'll be fun. So Mike walks over to this woman and notices she's wearing all black with a black hat and she's elderly. She's very friendly. She says, let me see your palm. Mike sticks his hand out. She grabs it. He says that instantly when she grabs it, she is like freezing cold. Like her hands are cold as ice. But he's just kind of like, okay. So she's looking at his palm and she's reading it and she looks up at him and she's kind of startled and she stands up from the table and pushes back and she looks at him and she says, you should not be here. Basically starts talking to him, telling him this is wrong. Why are you here? You're not supposed to be here. Mike said he's sitting there and he's just kind of like, the fuck? But this woman basically tells him, get out. Mike is like, okay, thanks for your time. As Mike is walking out of the tent, he's remembering the story that his parents had told him. They had told him the portion about him perishing young after his car accident, and they said, I guess that she was wrong. Something about the way that this woman was treating Mike, it just felt very personal, like she was like upset with him for something. Mike decides, you know what, I wonder if this is the lady that saw me in the grocery store. I'm gonna sneak a picture. So he and his family kind of stand in front of the psychic tent, and he has his wife take a picture, but he tells her hey, make sure that you get her in this photo. His wife grabs the picture and the woman is in the photo. So he goes home to his mom's house. At this point, his parents have divorced. So he goes to his mom's house and he has the picture with him and he shows it to her and he says, hey, we had this psychic reading done at the local fair. Does this look like the woman that you guys saw in the grocery store? His mom looks at the photo and she says, yeah, that really does look a lot like her. Without her talking to Mike's dad, Mike sends the picture to his dad as well and asks him, does this look like the woman that you saw in the grocery store? And his dad said, I can't be totally sure, but it looks a heck of a lot like her. And then Mike's dad tells him, the one thing that I can vividly remember about her is that her hands were so cold. Everything about her skin was just cold as ice. And Mike is like, holy crap, I experienced that with this lady too. So Mike and Mike's parents are pretty much convinced that this is the same woman that they saw in the grocery store who gave them that disturbing premonition about Mike. It's just kind of one of those things where they're thinking about it. What a weird coincidence that is. A little more time passes and Mike actually ends up in another terrible accident. When this accident happens, he is actually in the car with friends and everyone in the vehicle is unalived except for Mike. Mike walks away. After Mike experiences this second accident, he starts to really think about what this woman said to him about how he shouldn't be here. So he's starting to wonder if he's experiencing some sort of a final destination thing or if it's a quantum immortality situation. He's thinking that he was supposed to be unalived in that first car accident and wasn't because the new EMT who was on the ambulance that night decided to keep trying. He feels like everything since that experience has just been kind of thrown out of whack and just all of these weird things line up that just make it so odd to him. But that day that the psychic told him, you're not supposed to be here. What are you doing here? He says that he thinks about that all the time. I don't know. What do you think? Final destination, quantum immortality? Who knows? Is this woman right, or was she just a cuckoo? I don't know. But as always, thank you guys so much for listening. If you have a story that you want to send me, there's an email in my bio, or you're welcome to send me a DM. And as always, I hope that everyone has a wonderful day.
Today's spooky story was submitted by a woman named Lori, who may have gotten a little too close to the other side. Lori nearly as a child because her fever would get so high, 105, 106, and her parents would have to plunge her into ice baths just to bring her temperature down. She doesn't remember a lot of things from that time. She does remember the lady in the glass dress. As she was having one of these extremely high fevers, remembers her parents frantically whispering to each other because she was so sick. Lori was on the sofa when she remembers the lady walk in. She was tall and had lots of curly blonde hair. Her dress was made of glass. Lori could see through the dress to the TV set on the other side. Said it was like a crystal goblet, and she was one of the most beautiful women that she'd ever seen. And as she moved, the dress would refract light and rainbows all over the room, like a prism in the sun. She moved around the room like she was dancing in the rainbows from the light, and she was the only person that saw her, and they were talking. Lori doesn't remember what they were talking about, but her mother asked her who she was talking to, and she said, the lady in the glass dress, and her mother started crying. Now that Lori's older, she knows that her mother was crying because her daughter was so sick. At that point, a lot of things happened seemingly at once. The doctor came in and administered a bunch of shots to Lori. Had to put her in another ice bath, and more things that are just still fuzzy to her. All during this time, she just kept talking to the lady in the glass dress. At some point, she fell asleep and she woke up days later, fuzzy about the entire thing. But ever since then, she's felt there's a presence with her, and she's never felt quite alone. Lori's had strange experiences ever since this. Drop your thoughts in the comments because I'm sure Lori will be there. What do you think? Do you think Lori went a bit too close to the other side? Share this story with anyone that you think might have had similar experiences. And keep sending me your scary stories, guys. Just let me know if you want to be anonymous or for me to use your real name or be tagged.
So what started as a simple game of truth or dare turned into a demonic ritual by the end of the night. Someone almost got sold for R5,000. I don't know how to say South African money. I am back with another spooky story. You guessed it, this is yet another submission from South Africa. We're gonna call the person who submitted the story Mel. Mel says that this happened to her boy best friend. Until this day, it still creeps her out. It was Friday night and they were all chilling at his uncle's house. Mel's best friend's uncle. They decided to play a casual game of truth or dare with his cousin. We're gonna call the cousin Mikey. At some point, the cousin invited one of his female friends over. And now here's the thing. Mikey's friend was openly satanic. She eventually arrived and the vibe was fun. At first. Mini party vibes, music playing, everything seemed cool in that moment. But then Mikey's friend dared them to play this spooky game. She told them that they were going to summon a demon. And everybody there all said no immediately. And she looked at everybody dead serious and said, if you don't do this dare, I'll make you all do the nasty, forcibly. And everybody there was shook. What a threat. Obviously, nobody wanted to go through that, so they all felt cornered. Now, they knew that this girl had the ability to make them do this because, again, the whole openly satanic thing. So they all decided to participate anyway. Maybe nothing will come from this. So the girl pulls out 5 black candles and started drawing a strange symbol on the floor. She placed the candles at each corner of the diagram with one right in the center. Then she started chanting, saying these strange, dark words. Out of nowhere, they all felt this cold breeze just sweep through the room. And mind you, no windows were even open. Now, both Mel and her best friend had matching cross necklaces. And suddenly, they felt this burning heat on their necks. Their necklaces were hot. The necklaces were searing into their skin. It was so bad that they both quickly took off the necklaces and stuffed them in their pockets. Next thing Mel knows, she blacked out. When she woke up, it was already the next afternoon. Something was off with her best friend. He was acting weird, distant, quiet, and cold. Mel says that same satanic girl showed up again, and she asked to take him for a walk. Without thinking anything of it, they let him go. And later they would find out the real reason for that walk. Come to find out, she was trying to sell him for $5,000. R5,000, however much that is. But the girl led her best friend to this man to, this is a graphic, so I have to figure out a way to say this without getting this video taken down. The man was supposed to, and he wasn't supposed to have a tongue or a neck by the time the man was done. However, Mel's best friend fought back with everything he had in him. And somehow, by the grace of God, he managed to escape. And when he made it back to the crib, that's when he put everybody on to what he just went through. That one was definitely a scary one. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you're not already, please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can literally find the link at the top of my page. Y'all, we are super close to 8,000 followers on Instagram, so please make sure you follow me on Instagram. Just so that I know that it's real. Duh, like we're almost there. I say in every single video, I love you, my abducted human. Be on the lookout for merch as I will be dropping those very soon. I love you, my abducted humans, from your favorite Haitian homegirl. Imagine finding out that your aunt is a demon from hell. I am back with another spooky story. We're gonna call the person who submitted the story Perry. Perry said that she submitted this story because she really wants to spread awareness. Okay, so Perry is the type of person who receives visions. She says that most people receive visions from heaven only or hell only, but she gets them from both. She says she had visions of Jesus telling her what to do, and even having conversations with him, and also with demons and the devil. Perry says for some reason when it's with Jesus, she's never seen his face clearly, but she says that the way Revelations describes him is exactly how he is. But she sees demons clearly and their messages are always misleading. So one day, as she's randomly preparing for bed, her aunt walks into her room randomly and looks deep into her soul and says, "Life only gets worse." Perry didn't think much about it, she just prayed and went to sleep. Well, that very night, Perry had a vision. She says her visions never really involve her family members, but this time it did. In her dream, she was in her mom's room, which, by the way, she was sleeping in because her room had a problem. The vision was basically her entering her mom's room right after her aunt said that life only gets worse. She saw several heads and creepy things that kept repeating, "Life only gets worse." Which made sense because as she was walking into the room before she fell asleep, she heard whispering, but she just couldn't make out what it was saying. But in her vision, she can hear them very clearly, repeating what her aunt had told her. So she immediately woke up and started looking around. And out of the blue, her aunt was in the window just staring right at her. She said, "I never screamed like that my whole life." Everyone woke up, came to her, and asked her, like, what is going on? But she was so traumatized she couldn't even talk about it. She definitely didn't want to stay in that house anymore. So her mom suggested maybe she should just go spend the night at her boyfriend's place. She loved that idea, she couldn't agree more. When she arrived at her boyfriend's place, she felt comforted and at ease, and she immediately fell asleep. She woke up in the morning feeling refreshed and more at ease. Stay with me now. After freshening up, she went to go eat breakfast with her boyfriend. At the table, he asked her why she didn't want to stay at her family's house anymore. After explaining to him the entire story, he honestly wasn't shocked. He said one time his friend went to learn about demons from a demon with him. So they went to go learn about demons from a demon himself. And he said that the demon, for some reason, the boyfriend is telling her that this demon wanted to see a picture of him and his entire family. So he showed the demon a picture. So Perry happened to be in that picture that the boyfriend showed the demon. And immediately he showed interest in Perry. The demon requested to see Perry's entire family. So her boyfriend, who has many pictures of Perry's family, just showed it to the demon. The demon then asked her boyfriend if Perry's entire family were demons too. To which the boyfriend replies to the demon saying, "Nah, fam. My girlfriend and her whole entire family are in fact religious. Like religiously strong, and they're Catholics." Then the demon pointed at her aunt and said that whenever demons gather up, she's always there. And after that day at the table, he never brought up that story again. So Perry was so in shock after her boyfriend told her that story and felt the need to learn more about it. So she went to her aunt's old house, and the minute she got there, she just felt chills like just going down her spine. She said she saw several cult pictures and demonic symbols around the entire house. And yes, it was her first time in that house. As Perry and her boyfriend are exploring her aunt's house that they just broke into, out of nowhere, as if she is everywhere, the aunt appears and kicks them out. And mind you, before she appeared to kick them out, they looked all over the house. There was no one home. As they were there, they didn't hear the front door open, nothing. So where did this lady come from? She and her boyfriend leaves and heads to her house. And to her surprise, when she gets to her mother's house, who is standing right there at the front door, it is no other than her aunt. Perry was like, is she seriously everywhere I go? Her boyfriend was genuinely surprised. She told her parents to call a priest, however, her parents didn't think that was necessary. What they discovered about the aunt when the priest got there was truly horrifying. Now, I know you guys hate part 2s, I know. And sometimes I leave y'all hanging, but not this time. I'm going to drop the part 2. Make sure you like, leave a comment. Oh, and follow me on Instagram. Thank you. All right, y'all. I'll see you guys in part 2. Part 2. See how I didn't leave y'all hanging this time? Very mindful, very demure. So Perry was super persistent to her parents about seeing a priest. The parents, although they really didn't think it was necessary, they finally caved in because Perry would not let up. So as they were setting up the place on the day that the priest was supposed to come, she could just hear her aunt, but she can't see her. She said that the aunt knew the reason why she wanted to set up this prayer so bad. It's because of the vision that Perry had had about her and the things that she saw in the house. Although she's hearing her aunt in her ears, she just ignores her. The moment the priest stepped foot in that house, he didn't even want to look at the rest of the family. The aunt pops up and everyone is just glued on her. Everyone is staring at the aunt, she's staring back at them, and the air is tense. The priest said, she's not who you think she is, and that the actual aunt was currently burning in hell. Not H-E double hockey stick. Everyone was shocked. I'm Hannah Montana. Sorry. As soon as the priest said that, Auntie disappears. And they hear a very long, loud shriek in the air saying, I'll be back. The priest started praying, but Perry couldn't focus. All she kept thinking about was, where did she go? After the cleansing and purifica ceremony, sorry if I butchered that, but after the purifica ceremony, the priest came to Perry and told her that the aunt went back to where she came from. And that very night, while she and her boyfriend were sleeping, she was having visions of her actual aunt burning in H-E double hockey stick. Hell. Since that day moving forward, from all the trauma and everything, Perry now slowly started to recover. But one day, Perry just felt like she missed her aunt so much. So she decided to look at their old pictures together. And in all those pictures, she wasn't even there. Even the picture that was taken of them while they were on vacation together, just the two of them. It was just Perry in the picture. She wasn't in anything. There was no pictures of the aunt. So she went to the priest, and the priest said that everything of hers is erased, and she wasn't allowed to be remembered through physical things anymore. Bro? Perry was like, damn. So she went to the aunt's house, and the owner said that the house was never owned by anyone, and once her and her boyfriend got to the house, it was completely empty. No traces of her aunt, nowhere. So she decided to just forget about her and just move on with her life like normal. Her and her boyfriend got married last week, so their lives are going pretty well. Well, congratulations, girl. Perry says, anyways, this is my life experience that honestly has me shaking every time I think about it. But I decided to open up to someone I don't even know personally, so this load on my chest is dropped off. I want to spread the awareness of being aware of those around you and to be religiously strong. If I ever go through anything again, I won't even think twice but to come to your email and tell you. Anyways, I love you. Love you too, girl. Bye. This one was spooky, and Perry did not tell me where they're from. I don't know why I'm getting Nigeria vibes from this, but I feel like this is either a Nigerian or a South African spooky story. But then it could also be Haiti. I don't know, but you guys let me know what you think it is in the comments below. Or what you thought about the story. It was the craziest part. As I've stated in my previous videos, it's begging at this point, please. Just go follow me on Instagram so I can reach 10K. We don't know what's gonna happen to this app. Y'all getting a little too comfortable. And of course, my YouTube channel for longer, better, and spookier stories. We're almost at 40K. Get on it. Like I say in every video, I love you, my abducted humans, from your favorite Haitian homegirl.
Hey guys, I'm Jenny and this is Shameless Plug. So I want to tell you guys about my Crown of Success manifestation book, with easy, simple rituals and spells to manifest a life of abundance in your life. And those spells are so easy, even a child can do it. So this book is filled with different spells that I've learned over the years from my family, passed down from grandma and everything. And also those are spells that I've actually tried and I know that they work. So this book not only teach you step by step on the things that you can do that are so easy that a child can do it, but it tells you like the proper moon phase to use, alchemy, manifesting with numbers, numerology, and also the days of the week that best fit for this particular spell. So it tells you the timing of when to practice the spell, the days of the week, the moon phase. It shows you all the colors of the candles that you should be using and different planets. So for example, I show you like planet Jupiter is for Thursdays and the hours of the days that you should be doing the spell. So this is an easy road opener spell. So I know a lot of people like to do like different spell work, but if your roads are blocked, of course your spells are not going to work. So it's good to unblock yourself first and then start using the spell, especially with the new years and the new days to come. And also I have some amazing spells in here. This is a powerful quick money spell, so if you're in a bind for some money and you're just trying to get some money. And I even have some easy, powerful spell to win game of chance. So if you are a gambler, now I don't promote gambling, but if you are a gambler and you're just trying to make some money and trying to make sure you win, these spells will definitely help you. It tells you the best days to do it. So it says the best days to perform this spell is on a Thursday, Jupiter day. Jupiter is the planet of good fortune, luck, and expansion. Jupiter is the best day to perform spells that boost luck and increase your chance of success in any game of chance or any money spell, period. It has a list of so many spells that you can incorporate in your life with this new year to bring prosperity. And I even put some bonus spells on here, which for Saturday is a day to do like protection work. So I have a spell for like send back to sender. So I put some bonus spells on here, and then a protection with Archangel Michael. So there's so many spells on here. Removing the evil eye spell, so you can remove evil eye in your money and also in your everyday life. New Year home blessing spell, and I know it's been a few days since the new year started, but you can always do a home blessing spell any days of the week. As long as you need it, you could do it. So anyways, guys, this is my book. It's called Crown of Success by Jenny, and it's available on Amazon, the ebook and also the physical copying. So please grab a copy if you're interested in supporting this channel. This is a way to support the channel and to support me as well for putting out, you know, content every day for you guys to enjoy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this book, and I hope you go and grab your copy, whether it's the ebook or the physical copy. I say have a physical copy, but it's really up to how much, you know, your wallet and what you can afford. So anyways, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Mwah. This is a shameless plug, so just check out my channel, okay? Love you guys. Mwah.